Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to episode 42 of Adventures and Mousecapades. Do we have a quip for today, or is this a quipless?
Insert funny joke here. Ha ha.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Today, all right. Today we're talking about adult dining on the fantasy and libations. Yeah. Various classes that you can take that are adults only that involve alcohol.
Yes.
Sounds vaguely wrong, but
it's oh so right.
We're talking about like the mixology classes, the chocolate and liquor tastings, various tastings that you can do. We did three. There were three that were done by our crew while we were there. We did not do all of them by any means. There are lots of different options.
Four.
You know, what? 4?
Yeah.
What did we do? What?
Bill and I did one too.
Yeah, that's 3. Okay. 3 and an impromptu one as well.
Huh?
Okay, here, let's go through them. We got chocolate and liquor, we got mixology, we got martini, oh my gosh, bourbon, whoops, sorry, and gin.
So that'd be 4 plus 1.
Thusly the oh my god, I'm sorry, whoops. Let's, I guess, start with all the tastings.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I know we wrote in our notes the food first, but heck, we're on the tastings, so let's just go to that.
Already, calling an audible.
The first tasting we did was our favorite.
Yes.
We love this one.
Chocolate and liquor.
Chocolate and liquor.
Best friends reunited, and it feels so good.
Yes. This one was, we did all 6 of our group were at this one.
Yep.
And it involves a variety of types of liquors and a variety of types of chocolate. And what's really fun about this chocolate and liquor tasting is how the chocolate can change the taste of the liquor on your palate.
Yes.
How it can enhance it and just totally change the flavor of the liquor.
Absolutely. It is quite impressive how something that you may not appreciate the taste of from an alcohol perspective, and then you get the right piece of chocolate on your palate and you try the drink again, and it's like the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. It's really, really kind of cool how different flavors can go together and really accentuate each other.
So I think there was 4 different liquors. There's a sparkling wine, a red wine, a port, and what's this last one?
It's
whiskey?
A scotch.
Scotch.
Yeah.
Scotch. Yeah. And the chocolates involved are a milk caramel chocolate and white chocolate liquidy mix. Swirl. Various hard chocolates. There's white, milk, and dark, or white caramel and dark. I don't know if it was milk. And then a very liquidy dark chocolate as well.
You're skipping.
That's not a chocolate. I will get to that.
Hey, there's a chocolate shaving in
is?
there.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chocolate shaving and then a piece of hard aged, amazing Parmesan cheese.
Yes.
That
is the Parmesan Reggiano cheese.
Yeah, it's a chip off the old block from Palo.
It is so good. This cheese is delicious.
Yes.
I could eat this every day.
And there is a gigantic wedge of it at Palo on all of the ships, and that's where this cheese comes from.
And this cheese is kind of used as a palate cleanser in between the different chocolates and liquor pairing tastings. Yep. It's very good. The first one that we had was the sparkling wine with the swirl of milk chocolate, or it was caramel chocolate, I think.
Yeah.
And white chocolate. I tried the white chocolate first. I'm not a huge white chocolate fan.
Same.
With the sparkling wine. And then I tried with the caramel chocolate as well. Sparkling wine was very sweet just to start out with anyway. And adding the chocolate to it actually made it not as sweet. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think your sweet receptors are like overwhelmed by the chocolate.
Yes.
And then it makes them realize like, oh, this wine isn't quite as sweet as you think it is. So, yeah, it tames it a lot, and which I enjoyed because I am not a aficionado of whites and rosés. There are a few that I like.
Yeah.
And this went from like, to like, oh, I actually really like this.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The second was the red wine. I don't know if it was a Merlot or a Cab or not. I know they do change according to, I think, the ships that you're on and what they have available.
And what they have available, yep.
Yeah. And this was to be paired with just like the hard chocolate. It's not hard chocolate, like the chocolate bar type bits. Yeah. And then there's 3 different types that you can use: the white, the dark, and the milk caramel.
Yep.
I don't like red wine. I just...
And this red wine, I don't remember what it was either. We did a bad job of taking notes or taking pictures on this stuff.
Just enjoying the moments.
This glass of wine had a bite on it.
Yeah.
It definitely had a punch, and the chocolate absolutely tamed it.
Yes, it did temper it quite a bit. All the different ones. And each different kind changed the taste slightly. All of them I thought for the better.
Yeah, I didn't like the dark chocolate. I'm not a huge fan of dark chocolate. I think I may have pawned those off. But the middle chocolate, the caramel or milk chocolate, and then the white chocolate with the wine was much better.
Yeah. The next drink we had was a port.
Yes.
And I think this was new. I don't think we've had a port before.
Agreed.
But I am so glad that they brought this out. This was a Noval port.
Yes.
And I think aged 10. We also had it later in the trip at our Remy seating, and this was really good. Like our end table was like, holy crap, this is delicious.
This became like the signature drink of the crew. Not the crew, like our crew, like the 6 adults that we were with. So it was Alicia and myself, Bill and Rachel, and Andrew and Mare. Like we were searching for this port. We had it after several meals. Yep. We may have sourced a bottle of the Noval 40-year when we were in one of our ports of call. It was a favorite of the group for sure.
It is a little bit sweeter, but it's not overbearingly sweet. I know some ports can be overbearingly and cloyingly sweet, and this was not like that.
To me, most ports are like that. Like I am not a port drinker. My parents like port. I don't. But yeah, the Noval 10.
Yeah,
really,
we should
really
probably
good.
add some of that to our cabinet because it was good.
Indeed, we should.
And it was to be paired with, I believe, more of the bar chocolate type stuff.
I think this was meant to go with the cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you had it with the chocolate, and like kudos to you, but this was meant to go with the cheese.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed the combination.
Got it.
I mean,
yeah.
I may have also stolen a bunch of other people's cheese and just started chowing down on the cheese, but whatever.
Everybody likes the cheese, though.
Yes.
It's good. The last one was not what it used to be. The Scotch, they used to have a very nice, quite expensive.
Yes.
Was it a Macallan or Glenmorangie?
It was a Glenmorangie Signet is what they used to have. And with availability and all the rest of that stuff, they've changed. I didn't write down what this was.
No, I thought we had taken pictures of it, but I do not see it. Interestingly enough, I could actually palate this Scotch. It wasn't as strong as the other ones that we've had before.
Yeah.
Not as peaty, maybe.
It was if I remember correctly, it was like a signature blend or something. It was a Macallan. Yeah. It was one of their blends, and it definitely Macallan in my experience is largely not nearly as peaty as Glenmorangie can be. Although the older Glenmorangies, especially the Signet, at least to me, aren't very peaty at all, and I enjoy those. I will drink a younger Macallan and an older Glenmorangie. I don't like the younger Glenmorangies, and typically the older Macallans I'm not as big of a fan of either. That there's just too much smokiness in it for me. But this was pretty good.
It was still strong for a lot of people, I could tell in the room.
Oh, yeah.
It was okay. It wasn't an immediate no, here, Nathan, you have this.
Yeah.
Like, I think I may have drunk mine. I don't remember. But that paired with the dark chocolate, drinking chocolate, basically, worked out quite nicely, I thought.
Yep, absolutely. And, as a big group, like we tend to pool resources. And so if there's a drink at any of these classes or sessions that, some people don't like and other people's love, we will share amongst ourselves and make sure that everybody gets what they want. Yep. And so I remember having, I don't think there was a lot of sharing going on with the port.
No, everybody liked that a lot.
I definitely had more than my fair share of the scotch, and I think the wine as well.
Yeah. Again, this is a very recommended one from us.
We will do this every single time for sure.
Yeah.
And we have a really nice picture of Alicia drinking basically the last kind of drinking chocolate, as well as the first chocolate, which is a swirl at the same time, because
I finished the liquor. I needed to have the chocolate, and this was blending all of the chocolates.
Right, so you had to just taste your palate, see what that did for it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Let's see. We also had a couple of impromptu, I guess is what you would call it, tastings.
Yeah. You just get to talking with your bartender or your server, and you like, what do they like? What's something that they enjoy making? What is something that they have their own unique take on? And we ended up having all sorts of fantastic experiences of, 3 or 4 different takes on a martini, or 3 different takes, very different takes on a very fancy gin and tonic. And it was really cool to see these bartenders really work their magic and show what they really know. Like these gin and tonics that we had, we saw Lulu up in the Meridian bar, and we were sitting outside and started to talk to her, what we liked, what we didn't like. I've not traditionally been a gin and tonic drinker. Rachel and Mare definitely are. And so, Lulu came over and just worked her magic and talked about the different kind of gins that she was using and different tonics. And I had no idea it could be all that fancy, but it was so crisp and refreshing. It definitely changed my mind on what a good gin or tonic can do. I've never been a huge fan of the super sprucey, juniper-y like flavor. And so leaning into some of these different things and some of these different tastes is absolutely amazing. It was eye-opening for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of gin and tonic, and I don't know that I ever will be. It's just not in my taste wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But seeing Lulu make these different drinks and everything that is put into them, it is definitely an art.
Oh,
and I mean, each one of these 3 glasses that she made has different aromatics inside them, and then whatever pairs best based on like what gin you do, and then the tonics. Like, I had no idea there were so many different types of tonics.
Yeah, me
and
either.
There's different flavors and different aromatics that are made or that are used to make the tonics as well. So that was really cool, just seeing that and having Lulu do that impromptu tasting for us was a lot of fun.
I mean, my experience with tonic was like, well, there's Schweppes and there's like Canada Dry and which I'm sure just made Rachel and Meredith cringe, but I'm just not that sophisticated. I apologize.
That was really nice. Now, you and Bill did a bourbon tasting one evening as well. This was like late. This was like 10 o'clock one night. And was there just 3 different ones that you had?
There was just 3. I think they did a 4th drink. I don't remember. This session was not, I don't know. I went in my experience, like a Scotch whiskey is a lot more smoky, has a lot more bite on it. And a bourbon is typically a lot smoother to my palate. And the choices that were made for this session were all just very strong and bitey. This was not my favorite session. And the class was a little weird. This one was held up in the Meridian. I couldn't hear the bartender really well. It wasn't Lulu. It was the head bartender there. And it wasn't, there was one guest who was kind of monopolizing some questions that were a little far afield. And it just wasn't the great kind of experience that I was really hoping for. I also will say I'm glad. So Disney Cruise Line announced over the summer a lot of price increases for all of these experiences.
Yeah.
They used to be in the $25 to maybe $45 range.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them got a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, this bourbon experience is now like $100 a person. Now, I didn't realize it, but looking back at our stateroom bill and everything, we fell under the older pricing scheme. Oh. And I'm very glad this wasn't $100 experience, because it was not $100 experience for me.
I think you might be thinking of the old-fashioned one. I know that one was $100. I don't think the bourbon one was that much. And the old-fashioned one was on the Wish.
Okay. Regardless,
so coming up, yeah.
We still fell under the old pricing scheme for these. And I think you're right. The old-fashioned one is $100 on the Wish. And so I'm glad we kind of didn't pay as much, because like I think the chocolate and liquor one went from like 27 to 50 or something like that. Like there's a big increase in it.
Okay.
I may have those numbers wrong. They're always subject to change. You know, whatever DCL has on their, on their webpage is what the current pricing is.
Yeah.
But it was notable. I was like, oh, we're getting the older pricing on these. Awesome. So we were grandfathered in there. So yeah, the bourbon one, it wasn't what I was really hoping it would be.
Well, now you know.
Now I know. I will still do the old-fashioned one, because I love me some old-fashions.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hopefully that'll be on the Wish in March, and we will try that one.
Absolutely.
We also did a mixology.
Yes.
And this one we have no pictures of, because we were all just having way too good of a time.
Yeah, we were.
This was hilarious. So the other two tastings we did were mixology and martini.
Yeah.
And we had the same main bartender for both of these.
Yes.
And he was amazing. It was Amit from India, I believe.
Yes. And this was in the
Skyline Lounge.
Skyline.
I love the Skyline Lounge. It's really a fun bar. It's dark city colors, and the windows, if you will, are screens all the way around the room, and they change every 15 minutes to a different city skyline. Mm-hmm. And the drinks that are served at the Skyline Lounge are named after the city skylines. Like there's a specialty drink for each city that gets featured on the screens.
Yeah.
I may run both of these kind of into each other, the mixology and the martini, because some of the drinks were actually the same between the two.
Right.
We had, like I said, we had a lot of fun. We are a bit of a rambunctious bunch when you get all of us together.
And all of us
we
drinking.
have opinions.
Yes.
For the mixology, I didn't really have a lot of notes on this, but I do know there's one drink on here that they called the Cocoa Castaway that various other members of our team or group or crew had another name for it.
Indeed. Rachel.
And I think there's some other people in the room that knew it as something else as well. So this is Malibu rum, coconut rum, and Midori.
Yes.
This thing is delicious. Oh my gosh. And let's see, it was also called the leg spreader. What's the other name for it? And the bartender, cast member, host thought that was absolutely hilarious, as did most of the other people in the room. This was a good drink.
Yeah, that may just be a Baylor name for this drink. I think the other person was from Baylor as well as Rachel. So
that's true. Yeah. I'm sure there's other names for it, and I can't remember what they are. I heard a couple other names for it called out just from other various folks in the room. We also had, let's see, something with pog juice, sparkling wine, and pineapple vodka. I can't remember what it was called, but it was good.
For you.
For me, because of the pog juice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of pog juice.
No.
Pog is pineapple, orange, guava.
Yes.
For those who don't know.
For the martini, we had a note saying what a real martini is. It's just gin shaken in ice.
Right.
That's it. That's a martini. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Stairway to Hell martini, which is 60% Bombay Sapphire, 40% sweet and sour mix, a splash of grenadine, and a splash of blue curacao. I'm trying to remember what that one was, if I liked that or not.
I think I like that one.
I don't know. There's the neat thing about this is, like Nathan alluded to earlier, if one of us didn't like the drink, there was surely somebody else there that did, and we just kind of pass things around.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a French martini, which was vodka, 2 parts Chambord, and pineapple juice. This one was okay. I like Chambord because it's kind of a raspberry flavor, and I like pineapple, but I think the mixing of the two together I did not like very much.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. We had something called the Blues. 3 parts Jack Daniel, 1 part Patron Citronge, 1 part peach schnapps, and 2 parts lime juice and bitters.
Yes.
I think I liked this one.
Yeah, I think I did too.
This was one of the ones that, was good. Oh, and I have a better ingredient list for the Cocoa Cadillac, which is 3 parts Malibu rum, 2 parts Midori, splash of pineapple juice, some whipped cream, and you mix all that together.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. That one we definitely had maybe a little extra of.
Yes. Yeah, so Amit definitely took care of our crew for sure when we enjoyed both of those 2 tasting sessions with them. It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
And he did say, just because you're getting these drinks in the mixology classes and the martini classes does not mean that they are available at all of the bars. A lot of these drinks are ones that the bartenders have made up specifically for these classes. Now, like if you happened to go to the bar and see Amit there, you could ask Amit to make this because like these are his specialties. These are the ones that he made up or that he had a part in. So when you're at a bar, talk to the bartenders, find out what if they have a favorite drink, if they have something that they made that they like to show off.
Yes.
Whatever.
And especially Christopher up at the Cove Bar.
Yeah.
Christopher is amazing on the fantasy with different martinis. Just holy cow, could he mix a drink? And yeah, we ended, so I think I mentioned it last week. We spent several nights closing out the night at the Cove and just, hey, we want 4 different drinks. And they were all over the radar and they were all amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like one evening I was like, could I get your take on the chocolate martini? And this was the one dud because he brought a coffee martini. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't like coffee at all. And so I just gave it to somebody else and he made me a different one.
Yeah. Now, the folks who love coffee really enjoyed that drink.
Yes.
Like that wasn't his dud. That was, that was just a bad match.
I think that's it for the alcohol stuffs.
I mean, there was a lot of other alcohol consumed.
Yes. Yeah. No other tastings or stuff like that. There was a lot of, just chatting with bartenders, finding out if they have anything that they'd like to show or share. And
absolutely.
And yeah, there are a couple of other flights, I guess you would say, of martinis or other various drinks. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So let's move on to the dining portion of this.
Absolutely. Which restaurant do you want to start off with?
Let's start off at Palo.
Okay.
And let's start off at the Palo brunch.
Okay, let's do that.
Last time we were at a Palo brunch was a while ago, and it involved a buffet style.
Yes. So obviously pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was on the pandemic cruise that we enjoyed on the Wonder.
Yeah. So the Palo brunch used to be, you'd still get entrees. You'd basically sit down and look over the menu and make a couple of selections of what you would like to have the chefs make for you. And then you would go out into the main area where they had the buffet. And there was a bunch of different stations for you to choose from.
Yeah.
This one did not have that anymore. Actually, I just don't think it's available as a buffet style anymore at all.
Right. It definitely has not come back in that form.
Yeah.
And I think it is to be seen whether it does.
Yeah.
Or if it stays in its current form.
One of the casualties from switching from the buffet style to the totally sit-down plated style is Palo used to specialize in sticky buns for their brunch. And they were delicious, sugary, gooey, cinnamon roll sticky bun type things.
And warm and just amazing.
Yes. And they do not make them anymore. This is one of the questions that I asked is like, okay, I know there was a specialty from the brunch. Do you still have that? And they said, no, they don't make them anymore. This is unfortunate because that was the only place you could get them. And like I say, it was a Palo specialty.
Indeed. Palo does still start off with a complimentary mimosa.
Yes.
And get your brunch experience started off on the right foot.
Yep. You can do mimosa or sparkling champagne.
Mm-hmm. And then Alicia and I neither of us are coffee drinkers, and we both entertained an offer for some tea. So they have a beautiful assortment of loose leaf teas that are prepared at the table. It's quite fancy.
Yep.
All sorts of different styles of sugar cubes and regular and dark and medium. And like, who knew that there was all sorts of different types of sugar cubes? And it's steeped at table side, and then you can kind of help yourself there. It was really quite fancy.
It was a little interesting. I think I made note of this when we were going through pictures. I'm used to the server leaving the sugars behind. So you can add as needed, and the cream add as needed. And we did not have that for this one.
No.
Some of the other servers were leaving the sugar service behind on the tables, but we did not get that.
Right. We also noticed on the way out that there are little hourglass steeping timers that are available as part of the tea set.
Yes.
That was not supplied for us either.
Yeah.
So never fear. The handy Mickey Mouse Apple Watch face was able to accommodate our needs for steeping time just fine.
Yes.
But there's a little bit of a service miss there.
So this brunch, we have a note here, took a very long time.
Yeah.
This was 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, which is, I think, a little longer than it's supposed to be.
Yes. And we didn't actually go with all of the courses, which
This is true. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, and this, I believe this was a server issue, not a kitchen issue.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, because we didn't do the like the pizza course.
Yeah.
We didn't do multiple rounds. We didn't do the soup course.
Nope.
And so, having it take so long was odd, we'll just say.
And they do take your order for everything ahead of time, too.
Right.
So at the beginning of the meal, we said what we wanted. So they had all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did we want, Alicia? What did we work our way through?
Well, we started out with a pastry course, which was quite yummy. There's 4 different pastries that we were given. We also got a bread course, and then we got our, I guess, breakfast course.
Yes.
I got the spinach Florentine, and what did you get? You got the apple Mickey waffle, right?
No, I think that was you.
Did I get 2? I must have gotten 2. All right.
Yeah.
I got the apple compote Mickey waffle, and this is not a little Mickey waffle. This is like a full plate Mickey waffle.
Yes,
it is huge.
This is a big Mickey waffle.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got a charcuterie board.
Oh, you got a frittata. That's what you got.
But that was second. So we started off with the apple waffle and the charcuterie board.
We shared the waffle. That's what it was.
Yes.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and we shared the charcuterie board as well.
Yes.
Right.
This
and
was
then,
a good charcuterie board.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then second up, you had the spinach Florentine.
That's right.
And I had a ham and cheese frittata.
Yes.
And both of those were absolutely fantastic.
Oh my gosh. The spinach Florentine Benedict was amazing.
Yep.
And you had a very delicious looking ham and cheese frittata.
The frittata was fantastic. It was perfect. It was really, really well done.
Then we went on to the entree portion.
Yes.
And Nathan, you had the lasagna.
Yeah, this is the second best lasagna I've ever had in my life. The best lasagna I've ever had was, ironically enough, a vegetarian lasagna that we had. Wow, what was that, a year ago? Year and a half ago?
I think it was a year ago. We did a pasta course or a pasta making class.
Yes, here locally, and that was incredible.
Yeah,
this was a very close rival of that.
Yeah.
And how about you, Alicia? What'd you have?
I had the chicken parmesan. That is another specialty from Palo. Their chicken parm is so good.
Yeah,
it's delicious. I don't know how they keep the outside of the chicken so nice and crispy when it has a layer of sauce and then cheese on top of that. But it's always stays so nice and crispy on the outside.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep. And so that was it. We didn't overindulge. We knew we had lots going on that day.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to overindulge. And so while looking back on it, it took a very long time for the service. It didn't feel as much of an issue. It felt long, but it wasn't a big problem. We just were relaxing and enjoying our company and having a good slow meal.
Yep.
Dinner, however.
Dinner took a very long time.
Very long time.
We had the same server, and other people in our party that had gone to Palo before had also had the same server and had the same issue as well. Our dinner was 6 of us.
Dinner was 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was unacceptable.
That was too long.
Yeah, we got very frustrated towards the end.
Yeah. But it was still delicious. Oh my gosh. I love the Palo food. I really do. It was just the length of time it took.
Yeah.
And the waiting in between and trying to get the attention.
Yes.
And
trying to get drinks refilled and things like it. It just was not an attentive experience.
It was not like ones that we have had in the past.
Right.
For sure. Yep. So for dinner, we started out with the Palo amuse-bouche, which was a gnocchi in mushroom sauce.
So good.
Very good. We got some appetizers basically for the table to share. We got a couple of antipasto plates that had prosciutto and a whole bunch of other things on there. The delicious Parmesan Reggiano cheese. We also got buffalo mozzarella caprese. That was good.
That was, yes.
And then bread came with that as well.
Yes.
That was our appetizer course. And then we had a soup course, and a couple people had the Tuscan white bean soup.
Yes, you and Bill went on and on about the white bean soup.
So good. It's delicious stuff.
I had the gnocchi.
Yes, you had the soft potato gnocchi.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Yes.
And I had the agnolotti, which is a butternut squash ravioli. I can taste that. I swear I can taste that. I love butternut squash. The sweetness and the nuttiness in this dish was just very good. For our main courses, I think we both had beef tenderloin.
Yes, you had a 6-ounce choice cut. I had a 8-ounce prime cut.
Got it.
And they were absolutely fantastic.
We've always had really good luck with the steak at Palo.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They had a couple of different sides this go around. One of them was the fried Yukon potato sticks. They just look like, think of mozzarella sticks. It kind of looks like that, but they're square and they're potatoes.
Yeah, they were so good.
Yep, it's very good.
Really
Those
good.
were really good. There's also the whipped Yukon Gold potato puree. Mashed potatoes, just good, no matter what. There was something called a saffron arancini, which is a risotto ball. I do remember having some of this. I don't think I ordered it, but somebody else did.
I think Andrew did.
It was good. For dessert,
the whole table had soufflés.
And this is something that you have to order ahead of time because it takes a while for soufflés to be made.
Right.
And there are a couple of different choices. There's a chocolate soufflé and an amaretto soufflé. Both of them are very good. If
Yes.
you've only gone and had chocolate, I highly recommend trying the amaretto one.
100%.
And there was a mix-up, unfortunately, with the order here. 2 people ordered an amaretto, but only one went through for some reason.
Yeah.
And the other one got listed as chocolate, which is too bad, unfortunately, because it's not something they could just go back and fix.
And we definitely weren't going to wait 45 minutes for them to whip up another one. So another hit on the service side.
Yep. Delicious as always with very good company.
Yes.
And the very last thing we get is the palate cleanser, the amuse-bouche.
Yes.
It was some sort of, like, I swear, it's like some sort of limoncello sorbet thing. I don't know. It's
amazing.
It was delicious.
It reminds me of the Italian margarita that they have during Food and Wine.
There you go.
Which is a limoncello margarita.
Perfect.
At Epcot. And yeah, the limoncello in there is just a perfect palate cleanser. I would love to have like a slushy machine with this stuff on tap. It would be fantastic.
That's dangerous.
Absolutely dangerous.
Yes. Let's see. The other dining experience we had was Remy.
Remy is, this meal was one of the finest meals we have ever had.
It was very good.
Top to bottom, the food was absolutely exquisite. And our server was incredible.
Yes.
We had our Remy experience, I think, on day 2 or 3 of this cruise.
Yep.
And so it was before we were at Palo. And the difference in hindsight between those experiences is night and day. Like our Remy experience was over the top amazing.
Yeah. Now, all of these experiences are additional costs. They are not included in the cost of the cruise.
Right.
Palo used to be a flat fee, and it has since changed. They do have a prefix menu, but they also have an a la carte menu. And that is, I think the prefix menu is $45. And then the a la carte menu, just variations thereof. Remy is a bit more. It is $125 per person per menu. And there are 2 different menu experiences that you can do. There's 2 tasting menus developed by Chef Scott Hunnell from Walt Disney World's Victoria and Albert's restaurant, and Chef Arnaud Lamont from La Sette Champenois, a Michelin 2-star restaurant located just outside of Reims, France.
Interestingly enough, I was looking something up online yesterday, and I think he may have picked up a 3rd star.
Ah, nice.
So it's either a 2 or a 3-star restaurant. I'm not sure which.
Got it. And there's there's a French-inspired menu and an American-inspired menu. And Nathan had the French and I had the American, though we did kind of bite off of each other's plates.
We swapped. We mix and matched a little bit.
Yeah. We wanted to try both menus. I think I would have done the French menu if we weren't trying to make sure we had both of them going on.
Yeah. It was nice to have both choices, though. But I'm with you. I think by and large, if we had both done the French, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know that we did switch a course.
Yes,
we switched the second course because on the French side it was lobster, and on the American side it was a toothfish.
Yeah,
like my perfect ideal solution would have been both of us doing the French, but if I could just get the toothfish instead of the lobster, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah. It may have been possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to start out with, you get a complimentary champagne cocktail. It's called the Colette cocktail, which is the name of the sous chef from the movie Remy.
Yes.
It was a good cocktail.
Yes, it was.
And they started you off with a tomato soup cube.
I don't like tomato soup. Like I'm one of the weird people who just doesn't like tomato soup. However,
this thing was amazing.
Holy cow. So just the plating of this is incredible. You have the big, huge service platter, like the bottom plate, if you will, that's on the table. And then they just bring out this like 1 centimeter breaded cube on a spoon and set it on the plate at like 3:00. You're like, oh, that's a course. That's interesting. And so I don't like tomato soup, but I had this and it was divine. How they get soup in a cube, I don't know. But holy cow, it was so good.
Yeah, the cube is breaded. The thing I liken it to is if you have ever had a fried mozzarella stick, that breading that is on the outside of the mozzarella stick, it's similar.
This is a lot finer.
Yeah, it's similar to what this tomato soup cube is enveloped in.
Yeah.
But yes, this was delicious. It wasn't too hot.
No, it was perfect.
And just the balance of flavors was very nice.
It was a heck of a way to start off a meal.
Yes. And then we got a martini glass that had a layer of caramel on the bottom, followed by a truffle foam on the top. And this was very good. And
I was skeptical. I don't like truffle flavor. Yeah. Like there was a restaurant, I don't even think it's around anymore, here locally, and they really leaned into the truffle experience. And I realized I am not a fan of truffle, but I think it's because it was so heavy-handed. And I saw this truffle foam. I was like, oh man, it was light. It was delicate. It had a fantastic flavor to it. It was incredible.
Yep. And at the beginning of the meal, they basically present you with a loaf of bread. Yeah. Like, here is your bread for the evening. And it was a dense, dark sourdough. Looked absolutely beautiful, nicely crunchy on the outside. It was a dense piece of sourdough. It was delicious.
Really, really good.
And we were also given a service of butter. And it's 3 different types of butter on a silver tray.
Yes.
There was a seaweed type butter, an unsalted plain butter, and a red pepper butter. And then we also had a small bowl with salt in it. If we wanted to salt the butter ourselves, we could. And my favorite was the red pepper butter.
Yeah, my favorite was the plain unsalted.
Just the plain butter.
Yeah. No, the red pepper was good. I just really enjoyed the regular good straight up, and a little salt on there too. Yeah. I don't think either of us were quite taken with the seaweed infused butter.
No, I tried them all. I did not like the seaweed as much. No. Yeah. I should backtrack a little bit. I did say the cost of each menu is $125 per person. You can also choose to add on a wine experience with your meal, and that is an additional $115. Or you can do a champagne journey if you would like, and that is $140. Yes. And what they will do is they will provide you with a wine pairing with each course that you do, or a champagne pairing with each course. And the sommelier will come out and talk with you and find out if you have any likes or dislikes, stuff like that. Like, Nathan, you talk to the sommelier because there are certain types of wine that you just do not enjoy.
Yes, I do not enjoy the very fruity, very sweet white wines. And so that was factored into my experience. And the very first thing that came out, the sommelier called an audible, and I had a glass of a different wine. It was a Trimbach Pinot Blanc. It was nice and crisp, and just I really, really, really enjoyed it. Because I think what is originally with the pairing for the first course that's coming up is a much sweeter, a much fruitier offering. So
kind of makes sense with what we had, just the type of food we had. So I had something that was basically a Norway lobster, and you had basically corn done 2 different ways.
Yeah.
And one of them, like the bottom one, was like a wafer, and then, I don't know. The interesting thing with this menu is there is no description of the foods at all. No. And we were not thinking straight. We should have really done a little recording of our server, Michael, telling us what these dishes were.
Yes.
Because he did a very good job telling us what they were, what was in all of them. And you know what? In one ear, right out the other. Because I do not remember, other than damn, this stuff is delicious.
I did make sure to take a picture of all the bottles
Yes.
of all of the wines that I was getting.
Yep.
And I remember making a joke with the sommelier. I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I, take a picture of the bottle?" He's like, "Oh, no, of course." He's like, "I'm actually, as a result of everybody else taking pictures of bottles of wine, I am the world's foremost hand model."
There you go.
So he's very used to it.
Yes.
But yeah, when we do this again, I almost said if, and I apologize. Strike that from the record.
Definitely will. Yeah.
When we do this again, we'll absolutely bring along a little recorder or use phone or something. I don't, and it's not for the video. It's just
so we know what it is. Yeah.
I want to remember just audibly like what the heck we're eating because it's all so amazing.
Yeah. And the presentation of all this food is done so beautifully.
Yeah.
Just the art involved really in plating is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is one of the best meals, if not the best meal we've ever had.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, this was incredible. From the service to the tastes to the presentation. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So your next drink was a champagne.
Yes, it was a Krug Grand Cuvée. It was, I think, let me pull up the picture here, the 169th edition. I do remember the sommelier saying that they don't do years. Krug doesn't do the years on this because they all wind up being a blend. And so there's various different years of vintages that are involved in it. But it was a fantastic glass of champagne.
And this course, we actually switched. So Nathan's was a lobster, and it also came with a lobster bisque. And then mine was Glacier 51 toothfish, which is an Australian Atlantic toothfish. And this is like a luxury. Think how Wagyu is to beef. That is what this toothfish is to fish. It melted in the mouth.
It was
I had a little bit.
Incredible.
But I love lobster, so I had Nathan's lobster stuffs.
And the plating of the toothfish is so interesting. It's got this like inky black sauce, and it has this very light and delicate. I don't remember what it is because I didn't write it down, but just this black encrusted thing on top of it. And you almost look at it and you're like, I don't know how this is going to taste. This doesn't seem like it would be very good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It just buttery, it was so good. It wasn't buttery, but just, it was so smooth on your palate. Like the toothfish was incredible.
Now, I know you said you enjoyed the champagne. I wonder if that was taken specifically to go with the lobster.
I think it was because it's on the menu. The champagne goes with the lobster.
Something to keep in mind for next time.
Yeah. You know what?
Although you enjoyed it, we'll just have to figure it out for next time. It's okay. Right? And for the next course, you had a Vouvray Grand Vin 2017.
Thank you very much for the pronunciation on that.
I
appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Yeah, this was a fantastic glass of red wine.
And this was to pair with the sole that you had. And I had a chicken, a poulet rouge, and my chicken was amazing. And I know the sole was very good as well.
The sole was incredible.
This was the buttery.
Yeah. Rachel from our group, they had Remy dinner before us, and she would not shut up about how amazing the sole was, and rightly so. I think she joked that she almost entertained asking for another portion of the sole instead of whatever the next course was.
Nice.
But it was so good.
For the next drink course, the sommelier actually brought out two different ones for you because I think he wanted you to try a specific kind. And this was the Chateau, I'm not going to get this one, the Chateau Pure Liche Grand Cru Classe.
Yes.
I don't know.
It was a red.
Margot. It was a Margot Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's from Bordeaux. It's a 2016. It was really, really good. And then he also brought out a bottle of Skywalker Pinot Noir. And when he brought that over to the table, I was like, oh, we've got bottles of that at home. That stuff's amazing. He's like, you have this at home? I'm like, oh yeah. Oh
Yes.
yeah. We're in the club. Oh, they were both so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I had 2 glasses of wine is
Entrees.
I had one entree, but I had an upsized, up-serviced, upcharged entree. I had 2 pieces of steak. One was a glorious piece of Australian Wagyu, and the other was the finest piece of beef I have ever had in my life, which was a Miyazaki Wagyu from Japan. Like this is it. Like this is Wagyu. This is the essence, like the gold star, oh my gosh. That piece of meat was to die for.
I only had a little sliver. I should have had more because I did not like my entree.
I'm so sorry.
This is me. I do not like lamb, and that was my portion was lamb for this. And I should have spoken up and asked if I could have had something different, and I did not. I know they would have accommodated.
Yeah.
But I forgot how much I did not like lamb.
I'm so sorry.
Until I had some, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I don't like it. But you had some of it, and you said it was very good.
It was good to me. Yeah, it's not normally something that I have, but yeah, I thought it was good. It was not Miyazaki Wagyu.
No,
but
and the plating, of course, is very well done. It also came with some sort of risotto balls, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Those were very good.
Yeah.
And it looked like pork belly, but it wasn't pork belly. It was lamb.
Okay.
But it looked like pork belly.
Got it.
And then the regular lamb medallions as well. Your steak it looked like a window, your plate.
Yeah.
It had like 4 panes on it.
Uh-huh.
And there's a potato gratin or something like that.
Yeah. Kind of like a rectangle of potato.
Yes.
And then
what was the sauce
that
was
like
with there? Was it red wine?
Wine sauce.
Yeah.
The sauce did not get used. Like I tried a little bit and I was like, oh no, neither of these pieces of meat need a sauce.
Yeah.
And especially with Miyazaki, I was like, I don't want to taste the sauce. I want to taste the meat. So yeah, so good. I think we joked about it at the end of the last podcast episode, but I forgot to put a disclaimer at the top of this one. I hope y'all were are listening to this on a full stomach because my mouth is watering. Look at these pictures right now.
Just the pictures of this stuff look so good.
Oh, yeah.
The next drink course for Nathan was a port.
Yes, in fact, we had a glass of the Tawny 10.
Yep,
which
from Noval.
Was the Noval Tawny 10, and not 2010, the Tawny 10. Oh, it was so good.
And this was to be paired with our cheese course.
Indeed.
I love that they have a cheese cart at Remy.
Yeah.
Nathan got mainly the hard cheeses for his plate.
Yes, I stopped at I don't remember what they all were, but I stopped at a medium hard or a softer side of hard. I don't like soft cheese.
And I got everything else.
Yes.
I tried. So last time we went to Remy, I did not try all the cheeses. I tried all of the cheeses.
All of the cheeses.
This includes the 2 blues that are on there. And I enjoyed all of them except for the camembert. I did not like the camembert, which was surprising to me. There were a variety of goat cheeses or a goat cheese that I really liked. I like soft cheeses. I'm good with that. And it, of course, comes with like little dates and raisins and some honeycomb as well to help with just your palate and tasting them all. I actually enjoyed both of the blues. There's one that was a little stronger than the other, and I quite liked that. So this was nice, just being able to try all the different types of cheeses.
More power to you.
And then your dessert wine was a sweet white wine.
Yeah, and it wasn't too sweet. I'm trying to look for where we wrote oh man,
I'm not going to help with this one. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce with these. My French is still too rusty.
Riusec? Yeah, Salterness?
Saturns.
Saturns?
I don't know.
Riusec Saturns? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then I had this, I don't know what you'd call it. It was like a chocolate cannoli.
The menu just said chocolate.
Yeah. But it was
and it was, yeah, it's like a chocolate.
it was
cannoli.
chocolate. It was just basically a chocolate cannoli log.
Yeah.
And then Michael brought over and grated on top some fresh chocolate shavings from what's basically like a mini Nerf-sized football kind of chocolate.
It's a cocoa bean.
Sure.
They took a bunch of chocolate and made it look like a cocoa bean.
Got it.
And then just
But it's big, like it's the size of your fist.
Yes, it is a large cocoa bean.
Yes.
And I had a raspberry mascarpone dessert. Nicely fruity with a tart tanginess to it.
The plating of your dessert
is so beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah.
It has this giant brush stroke of chocolate across it. And then the dessert in the middle with the raspberry sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is stunning.
Yep. It was very delicious too. And I remember you didn't like your chocolate dessert as much because it is dark chocolate on the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
I ate some of it. It was still good. Yeah. And then that's not it. They give you more dessert.
Yes. You have dessert.
Yes. So they bring out at the end of your dessert course a silver egg, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they open it up and there is some sort of pistachio mousse tart thing.
Yeah.
On top of that. And then you have a silver platter with bonbons and luxury fruit roll-ups. Those were good. The fruit roll-ups are very good. I like those. You also get sent home with a box of chocolate and kind of a gummy. It has 4 little compartments and there's 3 chocolates and a gummy in there. And then 2 house-made lollipops as well.
Yeah. So those I donated to the cause because Caitlin and Sterling couldn't come to these dinners. Mm-hmm. Palo and Remy are both 18 and up.
Yep.
So that was my giving back.
I do look forward to taking Caitlin to Palo brunch next year.
Yes, I don't know if she'd be up for Remy.
I don't think so.
We say that with all the love in the world for her.
It took us a while to be ready for a dinner like that.
She does not enjoy fancy meals the way we do.
Nope.
I think she could do Palo, but I don't know that Remy's up her speed right now.
That was our adult dinners and libations for the fantasy. We had an amazing time. We had some amazing food and delicious drinks.
I do want to call out specifically Michael, who was our server at Remy.
Yes. Michael's from the UK.
From the UK. He was just incredible. And from what we heard afterwards, I think he had just joined the ship. Like this was his first time with DCL, and rose and started from like an assistant server in main dining to being like a table server at Remy in like a month or something like that. Like, he was
phenomenal.
He was amazing.
He was very knowledgeable, extremely personable, joked with us.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention, I think I must have forgotten to write it down. We had fancy water again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They didn't have the Macallan water. It was
No, they had a more limited menu of waters this go around. We tried 2 different waters. I don't remember what they were. One of them was from the UK or what? Welsh. I had Welsh water, if I remember correctly.
So I love this experience. Yeah. I love this experience so much.
Now we have to figure out, because our next cruise is the Wish.
Yeah.
It has different dining experiences. We have to do a little bit more research on this because the blogs and the vlogs that we've seen about the adult dining on the Wish have not piqued our interest at all.
Mm-mm.
So we may or may not be including adult dining on whenever we do our Wish stuff. We have to do a little more research into that, I think.
Maybe a brunch, maybe. We'll just have to see. The Wish, unfortunately it's a shorter cruise, so your opportunities to do, these other menus, these other meals are limited, especially because we want to hit all those new dining establishments and see those shows and see what's going on there. So I have a funny feeling that we probably won't do a fancy dinner on the Wish, just because we'll be focused on really experiencing what the Wish has to offer.
Main rotational.
In main rotation. Yep.
We'll just have to wait for the Treasure.
Indeed. And for those of you who don't know, the Treasure is the next new ship that is due to arrive in 2024, if memory serves.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep. We are not affiliated with Disney, and we are not travel agents, and we like to offer our opinions and suggestions, but we do recommend that you work with a travel agent to plan your perfect vacation.
Indeed. We're also not alcoholics, I promise, although we do drink a little bit when we're on Disney cruises and with our crew. If you have any questions or suggestions, shoot us an email at podcast@adventuresandmousecapades.com. Give us a follow on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Give us a rating and review in your favorite podcast app to help people find us. Thanks, everybody. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.
Where do we go from there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do we want to start over?
No.
Okay.
Have fun with that.
Okay.